So, from today we will start with the Psychology Standard 12 Maharashtra Board. Okay, so here, very importantly, there are in 12th standard also there are eight chapters are there in psychology. If you see, psychology is a scientific discipline, then intelligence, then personality, cognitive process, emotion, psychological disorder, which is very interesting for everyone. First aid in mental and positive psychology. Okay, so directly I will start with the psychology, a scientific discipline. First, if you say the psychology means what, in the last year you had to learn about it, but again I want to explain you what the psychology is all about. Psychology is all about a subject which deals with the behavior of a human being and the feeling of a human being and thinking of a human being. Mostly we are trying to understand the psychology, why the person is behaving in that way. Like right now you are watching this video, right? If you are watching this video, you are behaving in some way. It could be whatever behavior you have, it could be acceptable, it could be not acceptable. So basically in psychology we are trying to understand those behavior which are not acceptable by the society, because a normal behavior can be acceptable, so there is no research on psychology. We are trying to understand in psychology those kind of behavior which are not acceptable, which are very unique. Like right now you are watching a video by opening your eyes, right? So whenever, so the this is acceptable, and if you are non-acceptable behavior, you are watching a video, but you are not looking at the device, you are looking somewhere else, so that kind of behavior is not acceptable. So in psychology we will study that why you are behaving in that way, why you are not watching a video in a proper way, why you are looking down, why you are looking up. Okay, this is just an example I am saying. So let's start with the chapter number 1, which is our psychology, scientific discipline. So why this psychology is called a scientific discipline and why we are studying in a scientific perspective. Scientific means a science. Okay, so this discipline, this psychology is also a scientific discipline. We are going to learn that in this chapter. Okay, from a science perspective. Okay, so let's start. So here in this chapter we will study about the introduction, key features, history, researchers, challenges and importance. Okay, so activity 1, it is given. Let's read this and try and understand exactly what it is. Read the following statements. So these are the 6 statements you can see, and think and discuss whether given statements are a fact or a myth or misconception about self. So facts, everyone know that facts means what is right, what that is right, and myth means like which are created by people, and myth could be anything. Misconception means that people have a wrong information, misinformation. Okay, misconception. Okay, clear. So the first is what psychology is just common sense and not the real science. So the first statement is saying that psychology is just a common sense. What do you think? Psychology subject is a common. If it is a common sense, so there is no department of psychology in this world. People can understand any behavior without uh, without having a certified license, right? So psychology is not a conception. The people is having a misconception. Okay, misconception. Psychology is simply a pseudoscience. So now this is a word, is a pseudoscience. This is a very difficult word. Okay, let's search this exactly what it is. Psychology pseudo means related to the false or pretended. Okay, here they are saying psychology is a fake science. It is a duplicate science. What do you think? Psychology is a duplicate science? It's a misconception again. Psychologists are simply mind reader or the face reader. If the psychology is a mind reader or a face reader, it is better. They can work as an astrologer. So this is a myth. People are having a myth. People are thinking it's a myth. Okay. And the fourth one is psychology is related only to study the crazy people who are in need of therapy. Okay. It's for crazy people who are in need of therapy. Okay. So psychology is related to study the crazy people who are in need of therapy. What do you think? Like it could be the misconception, fact, or myth? Psychology is only study for crazy people? No. So it is a misconception. It is for everyone. Psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor have the same professional qualification. What do you think? The psychiatrist, which is, I don't think so, because becoming a psychiatrist, you should have a MBBS degree, and after that you will become a psychiatrist. So they are not same. It is a misconception. Anyone with a degree of psychology can provide counseling. Yes, definitely. It's a misconception. Anyone with a degree in psychology, which means BN degree. No, you should have a master's degree. Then you are able to counsel anyone. Okay. So let's come to the introduction. Your actual 12th standard psychology chapter starts from here. Introduction. We live in an age of science. Almost every sphere of our life is influenced by science. Okay, so here they are saying that we live in an age of science. Science, why? Do you think really we live in an age of science? Yes, definitely we live in an age of science. We live in an age of science where every whatever things I'm using, you are using. It is experimentations, verifications, provable. Okay, and each and every sphere of our life is influenced by science. Okay, how it is influenced? Let's see. Right now, you are seeing this video. There is a digital. So the digital things are also technological. It is a background of science, right? And how you are behaving, my behavior, everything is science. Okay, so since the evolution of human beings as the species, the survival instinct of humankind has led humans to explore the world around them. Okay, since the evolution of the Homo sapien as the species, okay, as the species, the survival instinct of a humankind, okay, the survival instinct of a humankind has led explore the world around them. So from Homo sapiens till now, so there is a survival instinct has led the human being to have a curious to know about the world, to explore the world around them, which gradually led the development of various sciences. So when from the Homo sapiens, when the human has evolved from the ape, okay, from the ape, when the human has evolved from the ape, they are very curious to know what is this around the world, around themselves. They are curious to know what are the things are there. So this led them to development of the various science. Today science are broadly classified into three basic groups. Today in science also there are three basic groups are there. One is the physical science, second is the natural, and the third is the social science. Physical science is all about studying about the physics, chemistry, geology. Biological science, zoology, botany, physiology. Social science, it is psychology, sociology, economics. Okay, so you can see that in the science is also divided into three part, and in that also there are various branches are there. Okay, and that psychology subject we are going to learn, it is under the social science because it studies about the society, and biologically we have seen the nature, and physical mention physics, like physical things. Okay, and then some people question whether psychology really is a science or not. Okay, some people questions whether psychology subject is a science or not. Okay, many people are questioning this subject is science or not. Okay, then answer of these questions, answer of the questions are, so if we need to answer this question, the psychology is a science or not, then we have to understand what is psychology first and what is science. Okay, and in this lesson we are going to learn, and we try to get the answer. Okay, so let's start. This chapter aims at answering these two complex questions. Okay, this chapter aims at answering these two complex questions by providing insight. Okay, so this chapter aims at answering these two complex questions. Okay, so this chapter aims at answering these two complex questions, like what is science and what is psychology. This chapter is based on that by providing insight into the topic like key features of science. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to learn that only what is exactly science. We will try and understand what is psychology. Okay, we will specifically deal in this chapter what is exactly science. We will try and understand what is science, what are the key features of science, what is the research methods in psychology, what are the challenge they had faced to establish the psychology subject as a science, and the importance of rationality. Clear? Okay, the chapter you need to keep in mind that this chapter is all about proving the psychology subject as a science. So that's why it is saying that psychology is a scientific discipline. So they need to prove it how the psychology subject is called as science because of this thing. Clear? Let's start. So the first key features of science. The word science is derived from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. Okay, the word science is derived from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. Okay, if I talk about the word science is derived from the Latin word. Okay, science is derived from the Latin word, and that Latin word means scientia, which means knowledge. Science is the pursuit and application of knowledge and understanding of the natural and social world. Okay, so first of all we need to understand the word science. The science word is came from Latin word scientia, and it is known as knowledge and understanding the natural world and social world following a systematic methodology based on evidence, and which means that understanding this natural world and social world with the systematic observation based on evidence, methodology based on evidence. So the following are the some of the key features of science. We have understood the science means what? Science means all about the knowledge. The word is come from Latin word and it is called as knowledge. And in science is all about understanding the natural world and social world with the help of systematic way. Okay, so what are the features? First of all, what is the key feature? Feature means what are the characteristics, what are the unique qualities, what are the specialties of the science. So that is called as science subject. the if I say the key features of the mathematics calculation, key features of the history, it is the past. Key features of the geography, it is we are understanding about the earth direction. Okay. So then empirical evidence. Empirical evidence. Science is an evidence-based approach to study and interpret information. Okay. So first is empirical evidence. Empirical evidence is all about how we are using experiment in science. So the first is in science is always go with the experiment. So that's what is called as empirical evidence. So science is evidence-based approach to study the interpret information. Okay, evidence approach. Empirical evidence refer to the acquiring information through direct observation or experiment. As I said, like science, whenever the science are studying or research anything, they are acquiring information through the experiment. Okay, scientific knowledge is based on verifiable evidence. So all the scientific knowledge we gathered, it is based on the verifiable knowledge. Whatever knowledge I had experimented and I gained, it is verifiable in the future. Okay, so that other investigator can observe and measure some phenomena and verify in future. Okay, so the first feature of the science is nothing but the empirical evidence. It conducts an experiment. Whatever, if I want to understand this natural world or social world, I will conduct an experiment, and while conducting the experiment, whatever result I will get, so that result is verifiable in the future also with the other investigator. And then the second one is objectivity. Science objectively studies the phenomena under consideration. Objectivity means what? Objective means yes or no. Objective question, everyone knows the small one. Subjective means big one. Okay, subjective, open-ended. So science is subjective. Science is just with the fact, yes or no. Like it is night, so it is night. It is day, it is day. Okay, science objectively studies the phenomena under consideration. Objectivity means the ability to see and accept the facts as they are, and not as the investigator might wish to be. Like as I said, the we need to accept that night in night. We don't need to say night is day and day is night. Okay, so accept what they are. Objectivity means all sources of biases, prejudice we are keeping aside while doing a research, while doing an experiment. Like take example, I need to experiment that why the students are not concentrating in education throughout the year, why they are only concentrating in the examination before exam. So objectively I will study. I will not say that okay, students are feeling boring because it is the religious perspective. So Hindu people are always concentrating, other religions are not. So I will keep aside and I will objectively study. Okay, and the third one is the scientific casualty. First of all, scientific, everyone know that we are doing experiment. Casualty means what? Casualty, casual means what? Casual, normal. So science aims at finding out the cause and effect relationship between variables under consideration. In a scientific study, a researcher try to control all the effect of the independent variables on the dependent variables. Okay, just wait a minute. So systematic exploration. So first we need to understand exactly what it is. Okay, so scientific causality. Science are aims at finding out the cause and effect relationship between variables under consideration. Okay, in scientific study, a researcher try to control all the extraneous variables. So basically, uh, they are saying that in science, whenever you are doing experiment, the variables, like I want to study about the students, so the variable will be the environment. So naturally, if I focus on the student will not behave what I want him to behave or her to behave. So I will do experiment in a confined zone in a laboratory where the condition or the environment is in our control, is in the researcher control. So that's why they are saying that science aims at finding out the cause and effect relationship between variables under consideration. In scientific study, a researcher tries to control all variables, extraneous variable, and find out the effect of the independent variable. Okay, independent variable. Okay, and dependent variable. Effect of the independent. So scientific studies are trying to understand about the what is independent and dependent variable. And the fourth one is the scientific systematic exploration. Okay, the key feature of the science, because they are exploring anything systematically. Okay, so the science are exploring anything or understanding any kind of research in a systematic way. There is no like, okay, then directly they can see and they will not conclude it. There is a certain steps are there they are following. Science adopts a certain sequential procedure for studying a particular phenomenon. Okay, so science adopts a certain sequential procedure for studying a particular phenomenon. Okay, they are having a certain sequential procedure for studying a particular phenomenon, and sequential procedure include the scientific steps. So science are following this procedure like sequential step by step, and the steps are like, first identifying the problem, second step is what, formulation of the hypothesis, third step is what, collection of facts, and analysis of facts, then scientific generalization and prediction. I will explain you with the example in detail in future, but keep in mind that systematic exploration means science always studies in this way. Science are following in science, whenever the research are happening, the researcher or the scientist are always they are going through the systematic exploration or the step. Okay, and the fifth one is the replication. Replication means a replicability of the scientific knowledge under the same circumstances, started anywhere at any time. Replication means, replica means what, duplicate, repetition. So replication means like I am doing a research in the 2024, but that research is already happened in the 1924. So after 100 years I can do a research. Okay, predictability, this is a very common and important prediction. In science, predictions are totally based on according to the present research. Like COVID-19 had the vaccine had done with various research, and the systematic procedure what they had followed, that systematic procedure can be followed in the future, and they will have a vaccine. Okay, so it is a predictability. So I'm stopping here, we will learn later now.